A to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to the A to the K.
That is the wrong time.
Yeah. We're twitchy because we are going to talk about WrestleMania reactions and reviews a little bit late to the party this week.
Yes, we are.
But still,
sorry, that's my fault.
We still reacted and we reviewed it, damn it. So that's what
we'll try
do.
and keep it punchy because most people have watched WrestleMania.
Yes.
And don't care what we think.
Indeed.
Well, I've got news for you. You're going to hear it anyway.
Yeah, because we care what we think sometimes. So we'll kick off with night one. We actually had the pleasure of watching this in each other's company.
We did.
Because pandemics are gone, baby, which is great.
Baby!
But the show kicked off with American the Beautiful. But the first match kicking off the show was Austin Theory defending the US title against John Cena.
I was surprised at this result. Let's start with, it was an okay-ish match, right? Yeah. This isn't going to go down as the most memorable in the world
than it deserves,
right?
That's for sure.
This was a good match. It just wasn't like, you're not going to be like, whoa, that was a highlight. I'll give you that, right? But what surprised me is John Cena, Mr. Make-A-Wish, right, comes out, literally does a Make-A-Wish on the stage, and you're like, there's no fucking possible way they're going to give him the loss right now.
Yeah.
Because how do you not come out looking bad beating John Cena after that, right? Because it was a lovely moment. I didn't want to sound flippant saying Mr. Make-A-Wish, but he's obviously the biggest WWE star when it comes to the granting the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Of all time, of any industry, the most.
Okay, I thought it was biggest in WWE, but of all time, it's insane.
Yeah.
And like the fact that he had them there on the stage, that is such a cool moment for them, you know. And like for me, I was like, after that, and everyone's like, oh my, what a fucking amazing human he is. I just couldn't see them giving him the loss, and he did. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, prediction series wise, I thought opening the show, like for me, it was always Austin Theory until they were like, do you know what? We're going to open the show with this, and I thought, there's no way they'll start the show with a Cena loss. People go, right? And then they brought out the Make-A-Wish kids, and I was like, well, there's definitely no. And then he did it anyway. But you know what? I'm an Austin Theory fan.
I still think it's the right choice. The idea should be to put Austin Theory over. You know, but I think we both said at the time, and if we're being completely honest here, and this is just Father Time, you know, so I'm not having a pop by any means, but it just felt a bit slower than his normal pace, didn't he, John? It
didn't feel like John Cena for me, and
I think that probably didn't help why people didn't like this match too much, because he
first time though I've ever, like, even when he came back on SmackDown and
and we're not talking that long ago,
he was, I don't know, I just didn't feel it. This time I felt like, okay, he just looked, he was a bit hunched over, he was a bit tired. Do you know what I mean? It was just
exactly.
Like,
and I think you could tell the pace had slowed down a bit there. And I think that's probably why people didn't really feel this match very much.
No.
But, you know, I'm not shitting on this match at all. It was a good match. I think the right result in terms of like pushing a new star over, that's exactly what it should be for. Is it going to be the most remembered match ever? No, probably not.
Just laughing at pushing a new star over. Hi, I'm the new star. We just
welcome to WWE, bitch.
But yeah, Theory won, Theory retains, and you know, generated some heat. But yeah, people seemed very down on this match, which I don't think was necessary, if I'm honest. But I don't know, I thought it was a good opening to Mania, personally. Not the best match, but still a good opening.
Yeah, agreed.
Next, we had the men's tag team showcase match.
It was only all right. Best part of this match for me, Chad Gable.
He's the best part of everything he's in.
I mean, just that spot with the suplex on Brock. Two? Did he do two?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he did like the rolling thing, didn't he?
Oh no, he tried it, didn't he? And then it failed. Like, and then they had a bit of a spot, and then he eventually got it off. But Gable, absolute legend. I think everyone loved that spot when he managed to suplex Braun. And, you know, I wasn't surprised at all. He's an absolute fucking ledge. And overall, it was an okay match. But, I mean, this whole thing was kind of needless anyway.
Yeah, I think as soon as we had Ricochet winning on SmackDown the night before... Well, yeah, was it? Yeah, it was the night before. I think we knew, well, I certainly knew that Street Profits were going to win this. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't the most exciting or the most unpredictable. The only thing that I was kind of secretly hoping for, well, not hoping, but expecting, was if Street Profits lost, there might have been some tension there and we could have sort of break up. But I don't think we need that anyway, personally. So,
and what I find interesting is that they did this and they had them win at WrestleMania and all this moment, like, oh, they're, you know, look at they're the best tag team out of this lot, and then they lose subsequently to the new tag champs, who I won't spoil it for just yet, but the new tag champs anyway.
Yeah.
On the following Raw.
Well, exactly.
Okay.
Although at least this one seemed to have some consequences because the women's match didn't seem to have any at all, which we'll also potentially talk about in a little bit. But yeah, Street Profits win to surprise of not that many, I suppose.
Well, they do bring the swag like nobody can.
That is true. Then we got Logan Paul taking on Seth freaking Rollins.
Fucking good match.
Really good match. Logan Paul has no right to be the good. We say it every time.
He really doesn't.
There's no right.
I feel like I'm totally justified or even vindicated in my comments. But the first time we had Logan Paul in a wrestling ring, I said he is the best non-wrestler we've had, right? In terms of like, he's a star who's going to try his hand at wrestling. He's better than Pat McAfee. He's better than Bad Bunny.
Damn right.
He's better than Johnny Knoxville.
Damn right.
He's better
than Dominik Mysterio. Two celebrities. Sorry, my bad.
He's an absolute natural fucking athlete, and this guy is insane, and he just wants to do, like, I feel like he's like, you can tell he's a fan because he wants to hit a lot of the fan moves, like the stuff he's doing. Like, I think people have referenced like, they're other people's moves, like everything's other people's moves technically, but like he wants to do the buckshot and he wants to do a frog splash and he wants to do all the cool moves that he probably loved. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm all for it. Fucking do it, man.
It's stuff that he excels at because he's so athletically gifted. Do you know what I mean? But
well, look at that spot he did where he sort of jumped from standing onto the top rope. Like that is an insane vertical leap.
Yeah. Majority of the roster probably can't pull that off. Do you know what I mean? So he is just a beast.
And who's going to make him look awesome? Seth fucking Rollins.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome match. And to be fair, you know, Logan had a really good entrance. And
well, can we talk about the entrances though? Because I feel like we can both agree WrestleMania was kind of missing a bit of gravitas, especially on night one. I think maybe pulled it off a little bit more on night two. But on night one, like, he had a unique entrance, Logan, but then it was kind of like awkward as well. Yeah. And then Seth's, like, I'm sorry, I'm totally wounded by Seth's. Like, it was clearly fake audio and just a guy with a stick.
Yeah.
I was like, you're doing that for no one? You're not actually conducting the audience. This is bullshit.
The thing is, the real audience was louder than the fucking piped in, you know.
It's so fucking weird.
Chants, so
the entrances didn't hit for me at all. But
we also got KSI dressed as a bottle of Prime.
I think we both knew something was going to happen with that bottle of Prime.
Yeah.
I think I was predicting it'd be Jake. I'm kind of glad it wasn't. I don't really want Jake, the problem child, overshadowing his brother and his hell of a WWE run so far.
No.
But KSI was just, it was a nice touch with the KSI. I love the spot with the was it a frog splash onto the
sort of,
or maybe an elbow drop of some sort. But when he come obviously off the turnbuckle onto the announce table, he ends up hitting KSI by accident.
I love Logan Paul afterwards as well, saying I finally defeated KSI.
I know, a bit of tongue in cheek there.
Do you know what? It's obviously
it's
a sponsorship thing and all that, and you know, but you can allow it because, to be fair to the guy, he doesn't phone it in.
Although for those keeping track, he still has yet to drink any Prime.
That is true. Yeah, I think
you pointed out. He
took a drink on the turnbuckle and spat. Like, does the guy even like the stuff? Who knows?
But a fucking brilliant match. To be fair, so can't knock it.
And I will say this, and it's no offense to Logan, but I hope Seth is more towards the main event next year. He deserves it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He's had a couple of years now where he's just nowhere near that scene, and I'm like.
I mean, what do you make of Seth? Like, he's making a lot of comments outside of like you know, on-screen performances for WWE where people are asking him about certain people, and he seems to have this whole sort of anger about people's positions in company. Like, he's got some heat.
You can see why, though.
Is it a work or is it like true? Because he's sort of saying the same thing about a few people. Like, he doesn't like Logan for the same reason he doesn't like Cody, for the same reason he doesn't like CM Punk, because he's working his ass off to be the best in the business, and they aren't.
The best stories and the best things that happen have always got an element of truth to it, because then it feels real. So I do think there's an element of truth to it. I think Seth is a professional, so he will work with Cody.
But like,
he'll work with Logan.
Right now, he's getting asked about Cody and he's saying that they don't get along too well, right? And it feels like, I was like, they're obviously building something yet, but then him and Cody are nowhere near working with each other again right now in terms of story. So you go, well, what's that for the benefit of?
That's probably a good idea because they've worked a lot.
But then you go, well, if that's the case, then he said that just because he feels that way then? So it's not a work? Because what's the work for if they're not going to end up working together?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. He just seems to, and I totally get it because he's really put the work in for a long time now.
He deserves to be higher up on the card, especially at Mania. than what it has been. So, yeah, interesting.
Anyway,
year
quality
for
match.
Seth. The next one, this piqued my nostalgia, man. I fucking love this. It's so good to see the wonderful Trish, with obviously Lita and Becky teaming up. Another loss for Damage Control, though. I think they are beyond damaged.
I think this is the only problem, like you say. It was nice to peek in the nostalgia. I think we both predicted that these were going to win because how can you not have the legends win? But this is probably the nail in the coffin for Damage Control, really.
I mean, based on Bayley's tweets as well, which obviously we spoke about in the news, it seems like maybe that is the case. But a physical match as well. I think both Lita, Becky, and Trish, actually, all three of them were sporting some kind of bruise or black eye or something. So fair play, they brought it. It was physical, and it was just, I don't know, it was so good to see. You know, I don't want to shit on Lita, but like we've seen her recently. But it was so nice to see Trish after a while be back and just like not lose a step. Do you know what I mean? It was just fucking legend.
And for those who are like nerds, I didn't even know about this, but outfit was homage to I believe her last WrestleMania.
It was. I knew that.
Which is because you're a nerd.
Yeah, of course. Massive,
aren't we all? I kid. But yeah, I thought it was nice paying homage to that as well.
Yeah, agreed. But great match. Yeah, kind of happy that they all got to do it together. Trish and Lita teaming up, and Becky.
I know it's at the detriment of Damage Control, but I think that was the right result. I do think it was the right call.
I do think that the tag title run for Becky and Lita is not long for this world. I do think we're going to see them kind of lose that pretty soon. But
yeah, I mean, but that's fair. They've had that run, you know.
Indeed.
Okay, right. Look, let's get the potentially controversial bit out of the way, because I know some people love this. I know even the Guerrero family themselves love this, right? But from a fan point of view, it just really gets my fucking gut. Even come out to Eddie's music now this time. Not entirely, right? Ray had about 3 fucking musics in this. He come out with Snoop Dogg in the Lowrider. So again, to nod to Eddie, not to Ray or his career.
Yeah.
And then it's playing, I think it's Ain't Nothing But a G Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're playing Snoop's music. Snoop's driving the lowrider. That makes sense. And then as they come out, they start playing "We Lie, We Cheat, We Steal," and you go, okay, let's play Eddie's music then as well. Okay, why not? And then it cuts into the Booyaka 619 music, and it's like, I don't know, the whole. I know you're meant to do a bit more of a grand entrance, but for me, I didn't like Ray's entrance. I thought it was kind of overproduced, and it's all about. Like, this is a feud between father and son, and everything about his entrance was Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love Eddie Guerrero. He's a legend. But, you know, I don't know. This is what Ray does.
I feel like I'm a broken record when I talk about this. I can't fucking stand it. It's such a shame for someone. He's just got into the Hall of Fame. And even at the end of his Hall of Fame speech, it's all about Eddie. He then goes into WrestleMania against his son. What more amazing family moment can you have for your own family to go on the grandest stage against your own son, and then they make it about Eddie, and it's like, let the guy fucking rest.
Well,
like,
this is the thing. Is
he's
like
built a career.
I
on his
understand. I understand. Ray has a lot of love, and they were like brothers, right? And there's there's always a time and a place to remember Eddie. So it's not about like,
but it's not constantly.
But this is the thing, and it's like this was not the story for that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like. Because I understand he'll always want to pay homage to Eddie. I understand that they absolutely loved each other.
Yeah.
But it's like, right now, this was a story about father and son. So the entrance just didn't work for me.
For me, though, it's now, you're in cheap pop territory. It's like what Mick Foley would do when he'd come out and he'd say the name of the town. Like, he's just there, well, if I do something to do with Eddie, people will cheer. It's like, well, fucking hell, like, it's not even about his legacy and like, honouring him anymore. Yeah. It's about, what can I do to get some fucking cheers?
To tell you what, polarising this may be, Dominik's entrance was fucking cool.
Do you know what? I enjoyed it. It was good, but at the same time, it didn't make any sense either, did it? Because why was he locked up again? There was no. It wasn't
I get that, but that totally reeks of the character of Dom right now. Yeah. He didn't actually. He spent like the night in a cell.
Yeah.
Right. So he's never really done hard time, and his whole idea is like selling people on him doing hard time. I could honestly see the fact that couldn't you just easily believe that he's hired some people to make them look that way,
to be fair, yeah.
Which is obviously it's all an act, but you could honestly believe that prison Dom would have like made that entrance happen because he served hard time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
hard times.
I fucking Mysterio. I love the entrance. I thought it was boss. I love the fact he was wearing a Rey Mysterio mask, and I dare say, I don't know, you like. as far as lucha goes, you can't just wear one, you have to earn it, but fucking suited him, man.
Do you know what? I really did.
Yeah.
To be, like, I'd hate him a lot less if he actually... Like,
I know, yeah.
You know, if he would have won the mask, and that was the whole point of the whole showdown, and then he started wearing it.
I honestly don't know why this wasn't a match for the mask.
Well, yeah.
But, I kind of do, because he didn't, you know...
Whether we like it or not.
Yeah. And do you know what? As far as, like, the match itself goes, I thought that spot with the belt was actually really funny.
Yeah.
As well, while we're at it.
Whipping his son.
It's that classic, isn't it? That I'll get the belt.
Yeah.
Like,
obviously threw a drink in the face of his sister as well.
Yes, yeah.
Although no one's kicking off about that. And if it's AEW, you know, MJF throws a drink and everyone loses their minds, but Dominik does it. It's okay. But yeah, no, the match itself was alright, to be fair. And, you know, I give Dom shit, I think you do as well, about is he really ready for WWE? But do you know what? He did well in this.
Do you know what, Dom? Do more of this. More of this. The entrance, the attitude, the match, and I'll shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I will eat humble pie and I'll go away.
Agreed. But yeah, it was alright.
Quality stuff.
Speaking of things that were alright, this was so good.
May even been match of the night for me, you know.
Do you know what? It was... it's hard.
I know it's tough because the main event was just... But
in terms of the actual in-ring work, you can't fault it in terms of potentially being match of the night.
Agreed.
In that regard.
That's fair.
The two of them brought it.
The reason, and we'll get onto it, the reason the other one probably pips it as match of the night is because of the story involved.
Yeah.
So this, like, I'm so glad they made the right call. Like, Rhea had to win this. She deserved to win this. She looked fucking incredible in this match. And what a quality match it was. And you know what, as much as I get kind of annoyed at the exposure of Charlotte, when like, again, I'm still wounded from she's on every fucking show this week.
Yeah.
Moments during the pandemic. Was it during the pandemic? I feel like it was. That I usually go into a Charlotte Flair match. It's like, but she's fucking really good in the ring. She totally deserves the status she's got as an in-ring talent. It's not just on the back of her dad and she's actually kind of rubbish. She's an awesome wrestler, and the pair of them worked fantastically together. So
I mean, long-term storytelling at its finest, maybe. Obviously,
possibly. I mean, the last time they met up was Mania.
Well, yeah, Rhea lost the NXT title to Charlotte at a Mania, so obviously they've come back, and now you've seen the growth of Rhea, and obviously the development and the fact that she's beat Charlotte now. And I think we both spoke about, wasn't a massive fan of the bit at the end where she was just sat on the floor grinning.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. But I think, as you say, they're still trying to put her down as a babyface, which she just naturally isn't. I did like the fact that there wasn't like shenanigans left and right here. Yeah. Because obviously she's part of Judgment Day, so you could expect it, but it wasn't bad by any means.
No. The pair of them brought it. It was brutal. Like, even like Charlotte took a nasty bump. She fucking got a whole burn on her face. Didn't you remember that? Fucking scraped herself on the ring. So the pair of them put a shift in.
You could see that. Like, that landing wasn't great, but
no.
They both she didn't even flinch. Yeah. Like, they just cracked on.
As you said, like, to be fair to them, it was probably match of the night in terms of in ring.
Oh yeah.
So you know what? Anyone who's there who's anti women's wrestling, like, fuck this. This goes to show. Like, Jesus.
But that being said, there's like, because there was some argument like this should have been the main event. As much as this was an incredible match and would be a contender for match of the night, the right main event.
Yeah.
The main event we had was the right
match,
main event.
But it wasn't what people were most invested in.
No, because what
people were most invested in was Pat McAfee
taking
on the Miz.
Fucking bullshit. Can we just skip this? I have nothing good to say about this anyway.
So, right, you've announced the Miz as the host of WrestleMania, and then Snoop Dogg's apparently now also the host of WrestleMania.
He's obviously outranks the Miz, because in this whole thing, the Miz is like, I can't just make a match at WrestleMania, and Snoop Dogg's there like, I think I can, and no one said you can't, so he just did. Yeah. And it's like, but can you though? And why have we got a gap?
Yeah.
It's WrestleMania. Why is there just a random gap of time that you can put a match in?
This is such a massive bugbear of both of us, isn't it? It's like, it's a planned out show. There should never be any time on that show where they can go, well, let's just do something off the cuff, because it's a pay-per-view.
I'm really curious to know. This might just be a lack of understanding as British wrestling fans, and we don't really know who Pat McAfee is, but is he meant to be an obnoxious tool, or is that just how it comes across to us?
Apparently.
Does he have charm?
To some.
Every time he comes out, and they treat him like he's such a big deal, and I'm just like, fuck, not again.
I think you made a really good point though, didn't you? I don't think it was on the show. I think you just via a text message to me. But like, you know, if Jordan Pickford came out,
yeah, I did say that to you.
You know what I mean? He was obviously the England goalkeeper, Everton goalkeeper. If he came out and got involved in something, would everyone lose their fucking minds? No. So it's
I wanted to know personally from you, would you lose your mind? As an Everton fan
to be fair,
and a wrestling fan, would you lose your mind?
No,
and
really wouldn't.
No. So I'm really curious to know if a football fan who would be a fan of Pat McAfee in a football sense would have enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Are they even watching wrestling?
I don't know why he's so over, but at the end of the day, he is. And yeah, this whole thing, to your point, is like, it's WrestleMania. How can you make an impromptu match? How's the time on the card for that?
I think next time we do get the FL, that's going on there.
Yeah, it has to. But yeah, Pat McAfee gets the match. He wins the match, and Miz takes a loss. And it's like, yay. But I suppose if you're going to give it any credit, it was a little bit of a piss break before the main event.
Yeah, and you've got to kill some time.
Because the main event, banger that was Charlotte and Rhea, you've then got this, which is the...
Do you know what? This is why it had to be the main event, because this is the payoff to a very well told story right here.
Yes, very much so.
And honest to God, what a match.
Yeah, fucking incredible. Like, there was so many layers to it. There was so much... You could just see the interaction between all four of the participants, and, you know, the stories that they've each told individually and as part of a collective, and to get so close each time to people winning and then not winning.
I loved how they couldn't. Both sides were struggling to put each other away.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you go, they're just spamming finishes, right? And it's a bad thing. I don't even think it was a bad thing in this.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of haluva kicks and super kicks that were out here, and it's like, but they just weren't putting each other away, and it's like, what, like all of them were determined to win. So what could they do? What could they possibly fucking do? I thought they told it really well, man.
Yeah, there was so many close calls, and I think there was times when we were like, oh God, are they actually going to retain here? But the right thing happened, I think.
Damn right, damn right.
And we'll come on to night 2.
What surprised me though is no assistance for the Usos.
Yeah, like none at all.
Not even
Solo.
No.
But is that, again, another layer to this multifaceted story? Is that Roman saying, don't go and
Sami Zayn element is kind of done. He's got his redemption, but he was tearing down the bloodline, so what's, like, there's still some story to be told here.
Well, I mean, if you saw Raw this week, Roman was basically like, you know, you guys go and wait on the jet kind of thing. There's food there, and I'll be there later. And it was like, he doesn't want them there, so...
Interesting stuff.
But yeah, what an amazing end to night 1. Like, for us, we watched this live, and this was like fucking at 5 o'clock in the morning at this point, wasn't it? And we were like, oh, why did that Miz match happen? Because we were so fucked.
Yep.
But it was worth the wait, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we've stayed up, like Royal Rumble, for example. We've stayed up before and been absolutely fucking flagging and gone, I can't believe we stayed up for that. Yeah. This wasn't one of them, was it?
No,
it was, you watched it and you
definitely
go,
worth.
Yes, what a fucking, what an end, what a main event.
And do you know what? Like, we're almost getting spoiled now with pay-per-views where it ends with this story and it was worth.
Yeah.
Well, you can remember Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, and that payoff. I know people were expecting The Rock, but that payoff.
Yeah.
What a fucking great match to end on.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, fantastic end to night 1, which takes us on to night 2, where we kick things off with Brock Lesnar taking on Omos. Now, was it the right decision? Based on what we know from Raw, yes.
Yes, I think this was the best result, realistically, right? And was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Same. Do you know what? Like, you look at this on paper and go, "Well, that's going to stink." It was a classic kind of big man match where one of the guys was a bit bigger, so he's expecting to be able to get out. Like, you know, Brock's there going, "I'm going to get all my offense in," and he just can't overpower the guy, so he gets, you know, fucking battered for the first half of it, and then eventually manages to, you know, find a way. And ultimately, fair play to Omos. He took a lot of Sheamus suplexes, took a lot of Brock shit.
One thing I'll give him his due for, I know now that he can definitely take a bump.
Well, yeah.
I've barely seen him do anything.
Well, exactly.
At least I know he can take a bump now.
Yeah. He still needs some new ring gear, I think.
Yeah.
It's just not winning for me. But do you know what?
Do you do very tall ring gear?
I think the dirt sheets threw me off on this one, which it did for a bit of WrestleMania, if I'm honest. I think I was under the illusion Brock was going to take some time off again after this, and so I was like, well, he'll put over Omos. Maybe that'll set him on a bit of a trajectory for this year. But yeah, evidently that wasn't the case, and little did we expect what happened the following night on Raw.
Yeah.
So Brock Lesnar got the win, and the match didn't suck as much as we thought.
I still think rightly so, though. Like I would have been annoyed if Omos won because he's not done anything to.
Well, they did typical booking, didn't they? Of the Giant loses, so the next night the Giant goes back out and is a Giant and wins, and it's like, even though he lost to Brock, he's still a Giant, so he hasn't suffered too much.
They fed Elias to him, didn't they?
Well, exactly, and it's like Elias is a big dude as well, so it's not like it's. I know he doesn't exactly win a lot, but still. So yeah, not the worst, I would say. We then went on to the women's showcase match. Wasn't really feeling this, if I'm honest. And it's a shame to say that. I just wasn't really invested in any of it. Really.
To be honest, like every tag team pretty much seems thrown together anyway.
Yeah,
I think that doesn't help at all.
They are, which is the biggest. I mean, fucking Chelsea Green. You know what I mean? Put together with fucking.
Only just come in with a new gimmick, and it's like, well, let's pay you with somebody so we can do tag shit. And it's like no real effort or thought into these women's tag teams. No. This is probably one of the main differences between the tag team showcase for the men and for the women, because if you look at for the men, the only non-established tag team as far as I'm concerned was Braun and Ricochet. The rest of them are very much established tag teams. The thing that annoys me
even more so in this as well, right? For the men's one, at least Street Profits came out on Raw and challenged Kevin Owens and Sami.
Because they won a showcase, so
right.
Yeah.
With this one, they then had a match on Raw to crown the number one contenders for the tag team titles, and Sonya and Shayna and Ronda weren't even in it.
Fucking weird.
What's the point in that? And I get it, they're both carrying injuries and stuff, but like, why even book the match in the first place then?
Exactly, yeah.
And then eventually Liv and Raquel end up getting that opportunity, so why not have them win at Mania and just cut out that in the first place?
It just seems like a bit of nonsense, but they've never known what they wanted to do with the women's tag division.
No.
And this just shows it.
People can call me a Liv Morgan stan all they want, but...
And they will.
For somebody who won the women's championship, had such a great showing in the Rumble, and just genuinely carried herself so well for the last year, to get this kind of match thrown together with Raquel and just didn't even win it. I don't know. I feel like she's one of the most hard done by for the whole thing. But
it wasn't great. It wasn't great at all.
No. Speaking of fucking hell, this was so good. I knew it was going to be good. Yeah. I did not think it was going to be this good.
How did you feel about the finisher though? Because I wanted it to finish this way. I'll be honest.
I mean, I wanted Sheamus to win.
I know I wouldn't have been upset if he did. He totally deserves it.
Yeah.
But I wanted Gunther to keep going. So I'm totally fine with the finish.
I thought Gunther was going to go up to the main event scene. Obviously, it's all played out completely different than what we thought.
That's the thing, because I think Gunther would have been a great adversary for Cody.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily want to feed him to Brock. So I think let's stay in the IC title for a while.
Yeah.
Brock? Why did I say Brock?
I don't know.
Roman.
I was going to let it slide.
Roman.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, this was the time to give Sheamus the, the fucking the Grand Slam, is that what they call it? He's never won the IC title, and it would have been a great opportunity for Gunther to lose without being pinned. Now he's still got the belt.
Hasn't Kevin Owens become a Grand Slam champ now?
You think so? Yeah, because he won the tag titles. Yeah.
Which deserves a mention because we Anyway, sorry.
Deservedly so. But, I love me some big meaty men slapping meat. This is exactly what we got. Yep. I think BT Sport, shout out to them, they did like a chop tracker or a slap tracker. And it was like, to be fair, Sheamus only took about 6. Really? Everyone else took like fucking double, triple digits. Well, not triple, but like 20, 30 chops. So, fair play. But, yeah, it was so good.
If you like chops, you can get them here.
I like the whole dynamic as well between Drew and Sheamus. Obviously, they're best mates, but also adversaries. And when Sheamus had it won and Drew fucking pulled him out the ring, it was like, oh shit, we're gonna get something's gonna go on here now. But yeah, fair. You can't fault Gunther winning it. He is definitely. I love how protected he is.
Yeah.
But for me,
he's as protected as Finn Balor's demon character.
Totally. But yeah, I think this would have been the perfect opportunity for Gunther to lose it by not getting pinned. Yeah. So I hope when he does lose it, it's either going to build somebody up to a fucking superstar to the point that he managed to defeat Gunther, or they're going to have to do something else like this.
Do you not think it's really nice to see the IC title being treated with that dignity?
Yes.
To the point that it almost should have a nice looking belt as well.
Imagine that. Imagine if it had the nicest
and
looking
like you say, as consequently, it's like it would be an achievement to win it now. Yeah. Which is awesome.
Well, that's it. Gunther's doing a hell of a job holding it down. But
he is holding it down.
I hoped for Sheamus. I wasn't, but I'm not disappointed because it's still Gunther.
Yeah. Honestly, it wouldn't.
Regardless of the outcome, if it was Drew, I would have fanboyed.
That's the thing. You can be happy no matter who won this. That's a unique match in that sense. Yeah. I wanted Gunther to win, but I would not have been upset at anyone winning this.
And it's a controversial shout, and I'm not saying I wholeheartedly agree with it myself either. Is it the best Intercontinental title match at Mania? It's up there.
It's in the conversation. No, I wasn't happy.
Yeah, me neither. To be honest, I feel so bad. Right, I want to preface this, get all this out the way. I love Bianca Belair. She's fucking phenomenal. She's talented. She just does stuff that you don't expect people to be able to do. She's held down the women's division. She's great. Shouldn't have won. Or if she was going to win, then it's still the same old tired shtick that we've been seeing for years.
Yep. I wanted Asuka to have a run.
What's the point though?
Genuinely personal preference. I wanted Asuka to win this because I want Asuka to have a decent run with the belt.
What's the point in giving her this new gimmick or reviving her old gimmick
and then just squashing it anyway?
And then it's done now, and it's like, well, that was pointless.
Well, she come out with a new gimmick at Rumble, lost the Rumble, hasn't really done much, lost this match. Yeah. Hasn't really done much.
And to be fair, the gimmick isn't wildly different from the stuff that she did in the first place. She's always, fired out mist and stuff, but now she wears a bit of face paint. Well, a bit more face paint. So, yeah. I don't know. I knew this was going to be the outcome, though, is the unfortunate thing. I don't know what they're going to do to defeat Bianca. Are they going to keep it on her for a whole year and do Rhea versus Bianca, title versus title at Mania 40? Is that the plan? Because they teased something like, I'll see you down the road on Raw, didn't they, between Rhea and Bianca? So
I honestly don't know if they'll have enough steam to get Bianca to the next Mania. I think people not be really down on Bianca.
It's harming her more than anything. I'd love to see her have a heel turn and then potentially that return back to face.
Honestly, if she turned heel with the title and that kept it sort of from stagnating, then maybe we can get to Mania. But the way she's packaged right now, I think people are going to get really down on her as champ. So they need to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I already am. And it's a shame because the match itself was fine. It certainly wasn't a bad match.
Did what it needed to do. Just unfortunately the wrong result.
Yeah, it's hard to be invested as well, I think.
Invest today.
Speaking of things not to get invested in, right. This is so many levels of what the fuck that I couldn't even comprehend. Shane O'Mac comes back, which is out of nowhere because he's been fired by his dad.
Well, here's the thing, right? When I want to say it was Nick Khan, somebody said this year's WrestleMania will be full of surprises. This is WrestleMania Hollywood. People are so down on Raw. You don't think for WrestleMania Hollywood and all these surprises we're allegedly getting, this was the whole thing was kind of limp in terms of surprises and grandeur, really.
You're not wrong. Even people love the stage and loved presentation wise, it definitely did not live up to expectations for me. It just to your point, it wasn't grand at all.
Grand entrances, that was a bit of a no for me. I'll give the exception to Cody and Roman's entrance, which felt like it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And we'll get on to that. But in terms of special guests turning up, no, it was a bit limp. We've seen Pat McAfee every other week. Shane O'Mac's made 700 returns. Snoop Dogg, absolute legend, but again, not the oh my god, they've got Snoop Dogg. Yeah. Right? They didn't have really any. I say really any. I feel like did Edge have a live band or live people?
He had something special, didn't he? I don't know if it was a live band, but he had weird.
I think it was an entire band. Anyway, but my point being, they didn't really do anything as grand as I thought they were going to for WrestleMania Hollywood.
Yeah, I will shout back because I forgot to mention it. Obviously, how heartbreaking the story of Bianca and her entrance. Obviously, they had that dance troupe, didn't they? Who obviously did the dancing, and the little girl's mum died on that day. You know what I mean? And she still went on to perform. Yeah. Triple H mentioned it in the press conference afterwards.
I didn't see the press conference.
He was choked up. Do you know what I mean? It's imagine being that little girl. Your mum's just died, but you don't want to let down. Or you don't want to let the opportunity slip by, and you go out there and dance in front of all.
At the same time, because you don't know, you don't know the personal circumstance, but she might have even done it for her mum. Her mum would have hyped about it. You know what I mean?
It's about 6 years old or something. It's fuck me. That's so.
No, it's heavy that mate.
Yeah. So that deserves a mention. But
without a doubt,
the whole grandeur of the event though, it just it slipped here. And for Shane O'Mac to come back, I was like, what the fuck is that about? And then, like father like son, tears his quad. At least he didn't tear both of them.
The thing is, like, that at least made it interesting. Sorry, Shane. But at least made it interesting. If it had just been Shane O'Mac comes back and has a match with The Miz.
Yeah. Do you know what I found interesting about this, though? I feel like The Miz got a lot of shit about this. So, obviously, Shane O'Mac injures himself early into the match, and The Miz is just kind of like stood there and like doesn't know what to do. And the next minute, Snoop Dogg comes in and saves the day because he comes in and punches him and then does the people's elbow. And he's been directed to do it. But people are like, well, The Miz is a veteran at this point. Why didn't he know how to save the segment? And I'm like...
I mean, it's annoying, isn't it? Because it's like, well, The Miz couldn't attack himself.
Well, yeah. So it's
what do you want him to do?
Exactly. So it's harsh. I feel like he's getting some unnecessary criticism. But, you know, our fair play to Snoop, he did manage to save what was a segment that should never have happened in the first place.
But again, who wrote this? Who decided? Right. A surprise Shane O'Mac middle of the night of night 2 of WrestleMania.
I
Hollywood.
Point out as well, right? There's nothing that indicates Vince McMahon's fingerprints are all over Mania. That's not come out. Right? No. So Triple H, our Lord and Savior, right? Didn't give Bobby Lashley a moment other than coming out and going, "Here's me trophy." Didn't give LA Knight a moment.
And LA Knight come out and said WrestleMania Hollywood needs an LA Knight moment.
It's like, wouldn't have LA Knight have made more sense here than Shane O'Mac?
And the thing is, the LA Knight one is more annoying, right? In a sense, because we understand circumstances happen with Bobby. Bobby was meant to be in a match with Bray, and that didn't work out. LA Knight wasn't booked for fuck all, and he was still hitting promos saying, we need an LA Knight moment. It's like... Triple H is there like, the fuck we do?
Exactly. It's like, well, why let him do the promo in the first place? So yeah, this whole thing just didn't need to happen, unfortunately. And look, Shane's like dead now, so not ideal. Hell in a Cell, the Demon, Finn Balor taking on the Brood Edge. I had a bit of a problem with this because they referred to him as Brood Edge in his Titantron and everything.
Somebody put a thing on, I want to say Twitter or Instagram about this, and it's like, we're going to do Brood Edge, and it's like, oh, is he going to have his old music? Well, no, it's going to be different music. All right, so is he going to have his old look? No, it's going to be a different look. And it's like,
people even said Gangrel were going to be there.
Yeah, it's like, well, even that was like, oh, is he going to have Gangrel? No, we're not going to have Gangrel. So what's going to make him Brood Edge? We're going to write Brood Edge. And it's like, that's basically what they did. Yeah, nothing about him was Brood Edge.
I don't understand his fascination with trying to bring back this Brood side of things.
It was the weakest thing he's ever been.
Yeah,
really.
It was.
In his entire career, that's the weirdest one to focus on.
Yeah, like, just be the rated R superstar. That's what you're known as. But we have Demon Finn Balor. Lost again, didn't he?
Like, didn't Samoa Joe finish him off once? And now Edge is
Samoa Joe, Roman.
Oh, Roman's done it too? Well, kind of.
Well, the rope break thing.
That was a bit screwy, wasn't it? But, like, straight win was Samoa Joe. And straight win
Samoa,
Edge.
Roman, and then Edge. But, yeah, so... Demon's done. Demon's done.
What a weird way to end the Demon.
Yeah. To be fair though, match quality I thought was good. Finn Balor got a gnarly injury. Did you see his whole head split open?
Yeah, man. I've seen the pictures afterwards. Of the
don't throw chairs. No, don't throw ladders. Sorry, at people's heads because that's what happens. But
I feel like we shouldn't have to put that message out there, but here we are.
Here we are.
Don't throw ladders at people's heads.
Indeed. But match wise, I don't know. I thought it was good.
It was a good match, and to be honest, I feel like as far as the story arc goes, it makes sense that Edge gets the redemption and wins here. But why, if you knew you were going to book it that way, I don't get why they've stopped protecting the Demon. They clearly have.
Again, as well, I was coerced by the dirt sheets because I was led to believe Finn Balor would get a major push after WrestleMania. And so I was like, well, Edge will put Finn over then, and Edge will probably go away for a bit. I was wrong again. So what I've learned from this, don't listen. Don't listen to people because they're wrong all the time. To the point where even you beat me in the prediction series this time.
It's actually on the charts this time. Don't normally see my name on the list at all. I must have thrown people off.
But yeah, no, the match I thought was good. It might get some flack for this. It could have been a bit more extreme for a Hell in a Cell for me. The only major...
It's not like we're at Extreme Rules here.
Well, there was like, what do you call it? An execution? What the fuck do you call that one? The diving DDT that he does. Execution. He does that off the ladder. Obviously...
Education.
Yeah. Well, he has a submission, doesn't he, called the Educator, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so... And then Finn did like the special ledge, and then he jumped and just stood through the table with his coup de grace, whatever he's called. And that just didn't work, so...
Coup de grace.
Yeah.
Coup de grace.
So yeah, it was good, I thought, but I don't know. It could have been a bit more extreme for me. Just saying,
he
guys.
cut his head wide open
Split
with
your
a
head
ladder.
wide open, and it still could be more extreme. What does that tell you? Which led us to the main event.
Had a splitting headache.
Right. I'm going to be man enough to say, Anthony, I got a bit emotional. Cody Rhodes coming down, giving the weight belt to Brody Jr., giving, obviously getting his daughter, and obviously saying this is all for you, and looking at his little emotional face. Made me emotional.
He hit the dad.
Don't know what it is about Cody.
He hit the he got the father in you, didn't he?
He did. But obviously...
You're there like, he just loves his kids.
That's like me. But, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it was... What a fucking masterstroke of booking, because it was so nailed on that Cody was winning this. He came down, he had the Sandra, you fucking legend, what an attire with the wings and everything. Yeah. Like, my God, you keep doing it, right? So he comes down, he looks the part, he's got his fucking wife and his daughter and his mum, and then Brody Jr. in attendance. He gives the weight belt. He's, you know what I mean? He says to his daughter, this is all for you, it's all about you. It's like, holy shit, he's winning. He's definitely winning. Roman comes out, he does his little promo, acknowledge me. The match is fucking so good.
It really
One
is.
of the best Mania main events.
Honestly, look at where we are now. We're in a world where we're going, Roman Reigns is incredible, and Cody and Roman put on an incredible... Do you ever honestly believe during 2020, 2021 that we'd be saying sentences like that?
God, no. Because obviously, Cody was like... AEW fucking...
Roman was nowhere to be seen at all. Obviously, he had to be home. He had to be safe, right? Cody was very much in all... I think he was even at one point in 2021 saying, like, this he's alive for life, AEW, and all this kind of stuff. And to be here now, and it's like, this is probably one of the best fucking matches I've seen in a long time. And it was Cody versus Roman.
Yeah.
That's something that you never thought you'd get.
It was such a fucking... They told such an amazing story in that ring. Yeah. Like, the finish where Cody basically hit Dusty's, like, fucking bionic elbow. He hit Goldust's thing, and then got him set up for fucking 2 crossroads, and is about to hit a 3rd. And you're like, he's done it. And then fucking Solo. Fucking if anyone's a heat magnet right now, it's Solo, a little prick with his thumb. Right? Have you seen the videos, like viral videos, people in the stadium losing their shit, trying to rip the seats off the fucking stand? Yeah. Like, they're going apeshit, man.
That's the kind of emotion they provoked out of this, man.
I honestly couldn't believe there was no reason why he shouldn't have won. Like, he did all. It was perfect.
I honestly, like, as much as they gave him the loss, I love the way they did it. Because honestly, we're all sat here fuming now, like, but I'm doing for Solo.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah. But it's like, do you know, like, people are losing their shit though as well. And again, it's a whole anti-Vince McMahon thing, even though he had nothing to... It was a Triple H decision, right? But people are losing their minds saying, oh, well, this is because of Vince, this is because of Vince. Triple H loves a fucking... a heel reign of terror. That was his career. Do you know what I mean?
Thing is, I honestly, right, I worry about... Right, so I really like the way they executed this. I really love that they've done it so that it was like he had this in the bag and he got fucking screwed. I fucking love that. I think it's brilliant, right? Roman has relied so heavily on Solo, someone who didn't help his brothers, right? I feel like the story works perfectly to carry on and go, Roman now is going to slowly lose the bloodline and they will go toe to toe again, but he won't have someone to help him.
Yeah.
And Cody will win it. What I do think is a bit concerning is I'm not sure that'll be a year's worth of story there in content and therefore get us to the next Mania. And why shouldn't Cody win at Mania? Like, it should have been... The win should have been at Mania. Yeah. And now I'm like, you either do it at a lesser pay-per-view or you try and get a year out of this, and I don't know if we've got a year worth.
The funny thing is, though, and we are just as guilty of this as everyone else, there's so many times throughout the year where we've gone, it has to be it. It's got to be Drew at Wales. It's like, you know, it's in his backyard practically, even though it's not really. You know, it's going to be Emma Clash. It has to be Drew. Didn't happen. Sammy's in Montreal. It's got to be Sami. It's in Montreal. Oh, it wasn't Sami. Cody at WrestleMania. And it wasn't. So it's like, when is it going to be? And I suppose that's what keeps you guessing, because there was never a more perfect moment. And bear in mind, we were happy for it to be a Clash. We were happy for it to be a fucking Elimination Chamber. There was never a more perfect moment for it to be right there at WrestleMania, and it didn't happen. When will it happen?
But there's an interesting point you make, though. because every time we've had a moment where we thought, yeah, I'd like it to be that. I'd like it to be Drew. And it's got better.
Yeah.
So is there something that we just don't see right now?
That's what I mean.
Is it going to get even better?
That's what I don't understand. The whole IWC have just gone apeshit because Cody lost, and they've gone, and Vince is back. We hate wrestling. And it's like, well, let it play out.
Yeah,
like,
relax, guy.
You know, you were literally there saying it's going to be Drew. It's going to be Sami.
And we did.
You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of people there going, well, I don't want Cody to be in the main event.
I don't think anyone said it's going to be Kevin.
Well, yeah, unfortunately. But, you know, people were there going, oh, do you know what? Sammy's more over than Cody now. You know, Cody's ruining it. It needs to be Sami.
I think,
as soon as Sami
we
lost,
can all turn around and be honest with ourselves that he wasn't more over than Cody.
Well, exactly. People willed it and wished it, but he wasn't. But those are the same people who are now fuming that Cody didn't win. And it's like, it is that extra layer of like, well, who's it going to be? When's it going to be?
And it's totally nice though. Like, as much as that debate over like, oh, Sammy's more over than Cody, etc. And they're both probably the biggest, like, hottest properties in WWE at one point. They both made events in Mania, man.
Yeah, fair play. I think even I think Ariel Helwani said he was interviewing Roman and he was like, or it might have been Paul. He interviewed both of them, but I can't remember who actually said it. But he was like, how amazing for Roman Reigns to take so many people on the journey with him. You look at your other main event stars over the years, it's all been about them. Whereas Roman has, you know, he's brought the Usos up with him, he's brought Sami up with him, he's brought, to a degree, Kevin Owens up with him.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, well, you can't argue. Like,
I mean, they don't call it the Island of Relevancy for...
Well, exactly.
The Island of Relevancy for nothing.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, people have gone on that journey and they've all become bigger stars at the end of it. Whereas you look at, you see, it's like, well, who did Cena make? No one. Who did, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at it, like, nobody really made anyone, whereas Roman's making people.
So he's a star maker.
So, yeah, it was, I couldn't believe what
even Solo to a degree, actually, now I think about it. Like, he went from being some guy from NXT who I didn't know or give a fuck about.
So now
I'm like, fuck's sake, Solo!
Exactly. He's like one of the biggest heels ever. And he's the guy, and again, to the storytelling, he's the guy that Cody said 2 or 3 weeks in a row, you're not ready. Well, how does the guy who's not ready cost you the fucking title? And it's like...
And I got... This is where the sideline with the whole Brock situation confuses me, because, like, I have a feud with Solo. Yeah. You've got some beef there.
Yeah.
Some legit beef there.
I do have one tiny gripe. And it is tiny, right? When Cody had hit 2 crossroads on Roman and was readying for a third, Solo hits the spike. The next minute, Roman's up, runs spear. I would have liked a bit more
hesitancy. He's just took
because he's just had 2 crossroads.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it did feel too sudden, and I can see why people are a bit like, "Oh fuck." But
no, I do take your point on that, and that's like you say, a very minor execution thing, isn't it?
Which it's kind of like me saying like he's not hooked the leg. You know, it's like stupid stuff. It's not that important, but it just would have been so much sweeter.
Yeah, it would have had that little bit of icing on the cake.
Yeah, because it was kind of like, oh fuck, you knew straight away as soon as he was right up, you're like, okay, he's won. He's gone into the finish.
Fair.
Whereas it would have been like, oh, he's down for a bit, and then he hits a spear. It would have been even more kind of spear. So yeah, all in all, good Mania. All in all, good Mania, I think.
Oh yeah, I think it did feel like it was missing some level of grandeur. Yeah. It's the only criticism I make of it.
People loved it. People loved the stage. People think I don't know what it was. It just, like, we both agree on this. It just didn't. It's felt bigger in other places, and if there's anywhere that you expected it to feel massive, was Hollywood.
Yeah, and I think what's probably got me with it.
And
is
to be fair, anyone who's criticising Vince, is it because Vince wasn't in charge? This is the first Mania thing, isn't it? That hasn't felt as
Triple
grand.
H's first Mania, and it didn't seem. It seemed to be missing a little bit of gravitas.
Just saying. So you can say what you want about Vince, but would he have made it feel a bit more of a spectacle? You've got to ask. But that being said, good Mania, amazing night 1, really good night 2 as well. To be fair, quality. You can't really, you can't say too much. I don't know which was my favourite. Probably night 1 because we watched it, but that main event for night 2.
If we're being completely honest, this combined would have been a fucking amazing Mania.
Single night.
Amazing single night of Mania.
I know.
But we put some plenty of filler in there. But let's face it, you cut the Miz segments out. You take out the tag team showcases, which neither of them were particularly epic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You condense it down, you'd have had just back-to-back fucking quality stuff. But I understand they own it over 2 nights now, and it is what it is. So I'm not moaning. It is what it is.
Indeed. And yeah, as you'll find out next week, a little bit of a teaser for you, is we'll also be doing some wildly early predictions for WrestleMania, which were actually recorded before Mania even happened.
Bear that in mind.
That's how in advance we actually are. So yeah, once again, we're going to promote Top Rope. We haven't actually opened it yet, so we will do that before the next one. But we've got Coast to Coast, nice little callback there.
Can't wait to try it. Cannot wait to try it. They've never let me down yet.
Well, exactly. Get it on toproperoom.com. Use A to the K10 for 10% off. And Anthony, tell the people about the merchandise.
Well, if you love merchandise, if you like wearing t-shirts, if you love wrestling, you want to wear wrestling t-shirts, and you just happen to love us, then you can head over to Pro Wrestling Tees. Not only do they sell tons of different merch for tons of different wrestlers, we're on there, Carl.
Yes,
so you can buy an A to the K logo branded t-shirt. You can also get some of our more unique designs, thanks to Alt Wrestling Tees, who designed a couple of different shirts for us now. We've got the House of Purple. We've also got Carl's particular favourite, Predict This. I would encourage you to buy them all and wear them all.
Indeed. Buy them all, wear them all. And until next time, we will say bye.